have a Super Bowl champion for the first time. In a former alum's first time being there. Just what was the excitement for you for this program for Drue?
Well, first the excitement of him making it to the NFL was one level, and I'm sure that we'll talk about his characteristics, but going from Notre Dame to the NFL, extremely excited for him, happy for him, draft day, all of that stuff. But now, taking it to the pinnacle and playing in the Super Bowl, the biggest game of all time, and it seems as if that stage just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It really does. In Vegas, great atmosphere, watching him in the game, watching him, Sunday at home with family, doing the whole thing, a little watch party with all of us. I mean, it was extremely exciting. We're very proud, very pleased, and he played well, and the outcome came as we desired too. So we were very happy.
For you guys sitting there watching at home, what was it like, seeing 23 trot on the field for the first time in that, that red-white uniform after the first couple of series?
Yeah. So the first series, he was kind of splitting time with, with the other linebacker, with number 50, Gay. So, first series he wasn't on the field, which has been the case, for many times before. But when he comes out and he plays physical and he's fast, flying to the ball all the time, it's always exciting to watch him. And sometimes I get lost in just watching him instead of enjoying the game, watching the game, knowing the down and distance and seeing scheme. It's watching number 23, watching how he reacts, watching how he plays, and his speed and his physicality in the game all the time.
What is the pride from Carroll High School and your Charger football program like now? Just knowing that you've obviously got a guy in the NFL, but you've got a guy that's reached that pinnacle, like you said too.
Well, it becomes that level that you want all your kids to play at, to be at. Without question, you would love for everybody to be in the NFL, but that's not the point. It's leading by example. It's leading with spirituality. It's leading, being a great teammate. It's leading with hard work, with that dedicated, focused effort, that Drue always has had. And Drue's always been that individual that was laser focused in everything that he did. Laser focused to reach that goal, to achieve that desired dream, a dream that he set forth for him when he was just a young kid, and he continued to pursue, and pursued through injury, through adversity many times, that probably to a normal individual would have taken him out of the game. So we're extremely proud, extremely happy, and extremely happy that they have a ring, and that, his time with the Chiefs, he ends up getting a ring in Super Bowl. And, we hope that he continues to stay there, because he'll be a free agent after this season.
You mentioned his journey a little bit. Obviously, the injuries, the multiple injuries he had at Notre Dame. He suffered one as a pro. How cool has this been to see him persevere the way that he has to get to this point in his career?
Yeah, without question. I mean, the 2 ACLs at Notre Dame, and Drue came through high school unscathed. And unfortunately that didn't happen for Justin and for Jack and somewhat for Ethan. Ethan was banged up last year with a shoulder injury too. But for the most part, Drue went through high school unscathed, and so you always think that he's never going to be hurt, and then he can't be hurt, and then 2 ACLs in college, and he recovers from that. Moves from safety to linebacker, which we thought was always, the best position where he was best suited. Improves that, and then has the injury, in second year in the NFL, season-ending injury, but continues to persevere, come through, show his commitment, his faith, his love for the game, for his family, for his teammates, and showed, what every athlete needs to do is continue to persevere, deal with what you can control, and he came out on the right side.
He's always seemed to be a great role model, but how have you seen him grow into the man he is now from maybe the first days that you met?
Right. So, I mean, without question, I mean, you grow up and you mature, and you go through some different things, but, now, being a father, being away from, the home of, where his parents are and being out on his own. He continually leads. He continues leads with the faith of Christ. He continues to push through. He is a great voice for the NFL. Not only do you see him on the field, but you see him in commercials and you see things, that he's doing, and we're very, very happy for him, and that growth just continues to drive. I saw growth from high school to college, and he was a tremendous student in high school, without question, a 4-point student, and somebody that you look to strive, all your kids to be like, go to Notre Dame and be an engineer, and be a high GPA student at Notre Dame, get drafted into the NFL, all those things. But again, and he would tell you that what's most important to him is his family, is his faith, him being a dad, I'm sure that's what he prioritizes in his life.
For you, when you look at a guy, that, was kind of a borderline NFL guy when he came out of college, they weren't sure because of the injuries, and talking about his journey a little bit more, just to see that, and what kind of a role model can, or what kind of a, what can that kind of a guy like that kind of prove to kids, just saying, showing how hard, how hard he's worked, to get to where he's gotten. Right.
I mean, there are many stories of guys who, shouldn't have, couldn't have. You see the 49ers quarterback, Brock Purdy last night, being the last draft, the Mr. Irrelevant, and is very relevant to his team and to the NFL right now. And Drue wasn't that deep, in terms of a pick, but, still, I mean, he wasn't a first-round draft pick. He was a safety, for some of his time at Notre Dame, changed his position, accepts that change, and embraces that change. And without question, goes after that change with vigor, with resiliency, being a great teammate, with work ethic. And that's what showed, and we went and watched him at the combine, and that was exciting too. I mean, when a guy that's as physical and the good size as he is, to run a 4.5 40, in front of the scouts, I mean, that's saying a lot. And he had a great scout day. He moved so well, and that again was coming off of injury, and he had no, ill effects of those injuries at all. So he is the story that you want kids to understand, and that is that, perseverance, that hard work, pays off, that being a great teammate, that dealing with adversity, understanding what you want and the outcome. And the only thing you can control is your response on a daily moment, and that's what he does.
Not sure if you saw the video of him on the field last night after the game where he yelled out the heart of a champion. How much does he embody that too?
Oh, without, every day he does, and we stay in contact, we stay in communication, and he is the heart of a champion. He is, the pinnacle of what we want our student athletes to be at Carroll High School.
You kind of just covered it, but for it to be him, for him to be the guy for them to look at, adding on that he's got impeccable character, just how does that help reinforce what you want to teach your kids?
Well, and I got feedback from this, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that lives in Kansas City, and and they said that he is the working man's player, and he works hard. He is without question that guy that flies around the field. And just a small piece of that is McCaffrey had a run that ended up going for about a 15-20 yard run down the sidelines and gets punched out of bounds, where he has a first down. Then they're driving the ball. I think this is when they kicked the field goal in overtime. And the next player that was right there to make that play down the field away from him was Drue. And that's Drue. That's what he embodies. Hard work, tenacity, love for the game, love for the teammates, love for everybody in the program, and that's why he's loved within that program and loved within that community.